There's a sound children make when they need something. It's not always crying. Sometimes it's, look at this. Watch me. Can I tell you something? 7-year-old Arav makes that sound a lot. One evening, he runs into the living room holding a paper airplane. Papa, look! It flies across the whole room! Very nice. The airplane lands at his father's feet, unnoticed. Arav stands there for 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10, then quietly picks it up and walks back to his room. The room feels bigger when no one looks at you. That night, he tries again. Ma, I think I'm scared of the dark. You're fine. Go sleep. And something very small happens inside him. He doesn't know it. But this is the beginning. Children are scientists. If something doesn't work, they test a new theory. So Arav tests a theory. Maybe I don't need to say things. Next time he feels scared, he doesn't say it. Next time he feels proud, he keeps it inside. Next time he feels hurt, he swallows it. And slowly, he becomes easy. Teachers love him. Relatives praise him. He never causes trouble. He learns something powerful. Silence is safe. Here's what's happening psychologically, but let's keep it simple. Children learn who they are by watching their feelings bounce off someone else's face. When a child says, I'm sad, and a parent says, oh, that must feel heavy, the child learns 1. This feeling has a name. 2. This feeling makes sense. 3. This feeling is allowed. But when nothing comes back, the brain draws a different conclusion. Maybe this feeling doesn't matter. And if it doesn't matter, maybe I shouldn't have it. Arav doesn't decide this consciously. His nervous system decides for him, and it decides quickly. Fast forward. Arav is 28 now. He has a good job, he pays his bills, he answers messages on time. Everyone describes him the same way. Stable, calm, low maintenance. Inside, though, something feels flat. Not dramatic, not tragic, just slightly disconnected, like watching life through clean glass. One evening, his girlfriend Mira looks at him and says, I feel like you're never really here. What do you mean? I'm right here. You don't tell me what you feel. I don't know what's going on inside you. He genuinely doesn't know either. When she asks, are you upset? He pauses, searches, checks internally. Nothing clear. Not really. But later that night, his chest feels tight. He scrolls his phone to distract himself. He doesn't call it sadness. He doesn't call it fear. It's just discomfort. There's a word for this. When someone struggles to identify what they're feeling, psychologists call it alexithymia. But that word just means no one helped you practice naming emotions. It's not a flaw, it's a skill gap. And Arav never got the lesson. Compliments make him uncomfortable. Attention feels unsafe. Need feels dangerous. I love you. And instead of warmth, he feels pressure. Because love in his childhood was inconsistent. His system whispers, don't lean in, don't depend, don't need. That's how emotional neglect works. It doesn't explode, it erodes, quietly. You act like you don't need anyone, but it feels like you learnt that somewhere. That sentence echoes. What if it was enough? He feels something in his chest, heavy, warm. I think I was lonely. It feels strange to say, but also relieving. Arrive like a movie climax. It arrives like practice. Thank you. I don't know yet. Give me a minute. That minute matters. Because when you grew up unheard, learning to hear yourself is revolutionary. I'm irritated, I'm anxious, I'm disappointed. And something unexpected happens. The more he names feelings, the less overwhelming they become. Because emotions that are named don't have to scream. This is how the brain rewires, not through dramatic breakthroughs, but through repetition, safety, and self attention. Show me. And this time, someone watches. The child who stopped making noise was never weak. He was adapting. And now, as an adult, he doesn't have to stay silent anymore. If parts of the story feel familiar, maybe something important was still missing. And maybe you're allowed to take that seriously. Because your feelings were always worth echoing. They just needed someone to finally listen, even if that someone is you.